Equivalent fractions, creating common denominators. In this lesson, you will learn how to create common denominators between fractions. How? You will use equations to create common denominators. You know that fractions can be shown as part of a whole, part of a set, or on a number line as a value between 0 and 1. You know that the top number in a fraction is called the numerator, and it stands for part of the whole. In all of these visual models, one part is shaded in, so 1 is our numerator. You also know that the number down below the line is the denominator, and that represents all the parts that make up the whole. In each one of these examples, the whole is divided into 4 equal parts. Even though they look a little bit different, each one of these examples shows the fraction 1/4. You know that the word equivalent means equal. When we talk about common denominators, that means that the denominators of the fractions will be the same. When finding common denominators, you need to know about least common multiples. Multiples are the products of the denominator and then the other numbers if you were skip counting. So for example, I did 1 times 6, 2 times 6, 3 times 6, 4 times 6, 5 times 6. Or if you were skip counting by 6, then it would have been 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. The least common multiple is the smallest multiple that both the denominators will share. Let's take a look at how we use the least common multiples when finding common denominators for fractions. We're going to take a look at the fractions 2/3 and 2/5. First, we're only going to focus on the denominators. I'm going to highlight those for us. So our denominators are 5 and 3. That's the part of the fraction that we need to make sure is equal. So those two numbers, 5 and 3, are the numbers we need to find the least common multiple for. Here are the multiples of 5. And here are the multiples of 3. So what we need to do is look and see out of these charts, do they have any numbers in common? Do 5 and 3 have any products in common? Did you spot it? 15. So we also need to look at this whole equation. All right. 3 times 5 got us to 15. 5 times 3 got us to 15. Now, we need to make sure that the denominators are the same. So in order to do that, we need to do this equation. But if we're going to do it to the denominator, we also have to do it to the numerator. So let's take a look at how we can make these denominators equivalent. So here are two fractions, and what we're thinking, we need to make 2/5. We need to think 5 times what is going to equal 15. So remember, that's what we decided our common denominator is going to be. So 5 times what equals 15? 5 times 3 equals 15. So we need to do the same thing to our numerator. 2 times 3 equals 6. We can do this because 3 over 3 is 1 whole. Now let's take a look at 2/3. So 2/3 equals, remember that new denominator is going to be 15. So 3 times 5 equals 15, and then 2 times 5 equals 10. So we multiply 2/3 by 5/5, which is 1 whole. Now our denominators, 15 and 15, are equivalent. In this lesson, you learned how to create common denominators by using equations.